What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am Dr. Pepper. Cheers.
Cheers. Dude, a good ice cold DP.
Wow. Damn it.
And demonetized. Anyways, what's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm just Andy, buddy. Just Andy. Yeah, I just got into the Rimworld.
Oh,
the world
yeah,
of the Rim.
bro. I saw.
Yeah, that's like something that 8 million people for 8 years have been telling me to play. And the fact that it's a game from like 1993.
Is it really?
No, it's not that old.
Okay.
I think it's only like 8 years old or something.
Because what's that other
7 years
game?
old.
Dwarf Fortress.
Dwarf Fortress, yeah, DF.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just bored as fuck, dude. It's so sad that I have 1,000 hours in Power Washing Sim, and that's the only thing I can like bring myself to want to play. Like that's the state of gaming.
Dude, you've got to be like top 10.
Maybe. I can't wait till the second one, dude. I'm gonna be. There are people who speed run it, so maybe not. But
yeah.
But when I was just like, oh, you know what? And actually, somebody in one of the Discords, it might have been the podcast Discord, actually. Finally, yeah, it was. Who was it? Oh, it was Blue Rex, actually.
Okay.
He wrote in the content recommendations in the podcast Discord. Since you enjoy playing the altars, I humbly insist you give Rimworld a try. And I was like, oh yeah, that's something that like, you know, it's so funny how I've been asked 8 billion times to play it, and it's always like, no. And then all of a sudden I see the recommendation on a particular day in a particular time, and I'm like, all right, I forget like what the deal is. I take a look, and the first thing I do is I pull up the Steam page.
Yeah.
And I see overwhelmingly positive 179,000 reviews. And I just clicked buy. I've never seen that before.
179,000 reviews.
Yeah, and overwhelmingly like
that's crazy.
I just, you know, surprisingly enough, like these days I feel as if the Steam reviews, see, like if it says overwhelmingly positive, I think it's going to be overwhelming. Like, I think that's a good barometer. If it says, you know, like mixed reviews or whatever, it might actually be good.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, you're more likely to get a bad review on a good game than the other way around.
Yep. For sure. Yeah. Outside of like people specifically view bombing or review bombing games, I feel like Steam reviews are pretty solid.
Yeah, but it's totally the thing I didn't realize is it's like, I guess it's built in the same engine as Prison Architect, which I think if I had known that fact earlier, I would have been a little bit more interested.
I've never even heard of Prison Architect.
You fucking what, mate? Prison Architect, that's one of my favorite games from back in the day.
Oh, it looks very similar to Rimworld, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like one of those games where you just build out a prison. There's like, you unlock stuff.
It's like
you have to manage
Prison Tycoon.
Basically. Yeah, you start off and it's like, you know, you build the little holding cell, and then it's like, all right, you need to build a little cell block, and then you know, every prisoner needs to have like a bathroom and a shower. You do the scheduling of the different sections.
Dang.
You don't want like people all over the place all the time, because then riots break out and it goes crazy. So then, you know, you need like riot police, and then you need like doctors and an infirmary on the premises, and
Dang.
you know, there's like an execution, capital punishment whole thing that, yeah, it's a pretty neat game if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I've been playing Rimworld for like 6 hours or something, and it looks like it's one of these things. Like, I'm sure I get the impression that, like, similar to Factorio, because this is actually what Steam basically said. It was like Factorio and Prison Architect, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
You look at both and you're like, yep.
Yep.
How the end game is like nothing like the early game.
Yeah.
Especially considering like I'm building on this like 50 by 50 little plot in this one little area, but you can like zoom out and see there's like the big square area that you have is just one map with a continent on a planet, and it's like, oh, so I'm sure that I've seen like 1% of the game.
Yeah.
And
I've watched quite a bit of like Deadly play it back in the day, and I mean, I don't know, like, I know there's like different difficulties you can set and different maps you can get, and so like I'm sure it's like a vastly different experience than what you're getting depending on
there's a
like
million mods.
Yeah,
too.
mods and what you're getting, but like I remember it being like intense and a whole just one of those games where you're like, oh my god, I have to manage that. Like this guy's about to have a mental breakdown. Oh, okay, I didn't know I had to send him to a therapist or whatever. Like it's just one of those games where anything can happen. And it seemed pretty cool. I watched him play a lot of it back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like crazy like rabid bunnies attack, like surprise attack, while two of my guys were like vomiting from food poisoning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure things get crazy, and I know that Dwarf Fortress is the one that people always talk about as like the crazy stories and scenarios.
Yeah, I watched like a 20 or 30 minute like video essay on Dwarf Fortress because that just like I'm pretty sure that was made in all like it was like with all ASCII characters or something. Like everything was in the OG, and it was like he'd been working on it for. I mean, he's like been working on it since the 90s or something like that. And then it kind of blew up, and then he ended up like partnering with someone like Steam, and they like reskinned it, and then it got popular again. And the game just fascinated me because it was like extremely complex and made by like one or two guys, which was just kind of cool. But yeah, man, Rimworld seems pretty cool. So you're vibing with it so far?
Yeah, I'll have a lot more. It's one of those games that either I'll just lose interest or it'll be like crack for a while.
Yeah.
I'll have a lot more to say next week, I'm sure. But yeah, I did play a couple other games. I tried out a couple other games too. But one of the things I wanted to say that was relevant to something I tweeted that I got a really interesting response. That I just thought it was funny. So what have I in the last week? I've played. Let's see. I've played that Baby Steps.
Oh
game,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I played that demo. I played. Let's see, a game called Escape from Mistwood Mansion.
Okay. No Escape from Duckov?
No, but yeah, okay. So that was like almost like a big escape room kind of thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because I've just been enjoying the puzzle escape room kind of games.
Yeah.
I played Firewatch again.
Oh yeah,
which is a fantastic game. I played. I mean, I just recently got into House Flipper 2 and went through all of the content there. I started to play the leaf blowing simulator.
Oh,
the demo, and I was getting like 4 frames a second, so I just couldn't even play it.
Oh my god, bro.
So yeah, a bunch of games. I've just been getting into and there's like half a dozen more that I've played. And the one thing I'll say about all of those games, and basically the last 500 games I've played, is that every single new game, you start off and the sensitivity is 10x.
Crazy. Yep.
I don't understand why.
The sensitivity is 10x and the background music is 10x.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
So I just don't get it. And so I have, which I think is the most common DPI, 800. I think that's like default for most people. And yet whatever the number is on the slider, let's say it goes from 0 to like 200. The slider starts at 100. I'm usually at 30.
Yeah.
By default, like Tarkov, I was at like 2.3.
Yep.
But what was interesting was, I would say like 70% of the response I got was like, yes, holy fuck, I hate it.
Yep.
80% maybe. And then like 20% was, bro, just get over it. You're getting old.
Yeah, I saw someone that was just like, it wasn't even aggressive. They were just like, we're not as cracked as we used to be. And I was like,
yeah. And I'm like, what?
You played at 73x your current sensitivity back when you were cracked, I guess? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like back in my day, the fucking tryhard Andes were the ones that had the really low sense.
Yeah.
And they had a mouse pad the size of their desk.
Yeah.
Now I get that actually in CS, like competitive CS back in the day, they'd be like no room at the LAN parties. So
yeah,
like the
high sense, yeah.
But like, I just don't,
dude.
I don't mind people saying I'm old or whatever. Like, sure, fine. Like, it's not that. The logic I don't understand, because you would think that if you get old, that means that you're slower or like more lazy or like more tired. But it's more effort to be accurate with a lower sensitivity.
Yeah.
So you would think that the kids would have the low sensitivity, and the old men would be like doing this and doing 360s.
Yeah.
Because we're too tired and lazy.
It is just crazy. And it's like, I don't mind. Like, you can rip the sensitivity up to 300% if you want. It's just crazy that the default is always so high. It literally every time I play a new game, anytime I play a new game and I'm like in a Discord call with people, like everyone's always saying the same thing. It is weird. And then same thing with the menu music. Who are we EQing that for? It's like, okay, if you give me the ability to turn it to 200%, but let's make the default 30%. It doesn't have to be 150%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Volume. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually have my game volume down pretty low anyway, like on my mixer, so I don't notice that as much. But yeah, I just thought it was bizarre because I'm like, sure, like, lol, I'm old. Okay, like, that doesn't bug me. Just the logic of it.
Yeah.
I was just like, but what does that have to do? Like, what is old? And having like someone is like, I don't know how you don't understand what this has to do with reaction time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, let's like work this out. What do you mean? Like, the reaction time is independent for how many inches my mouse moves per pixel.
Yeah.
So what? I just don't understand it.
Well, see, the thing is, you tweeted something. So to those people, you were wrong. And then they just had to figure out how to make that a thing.
Yeah. What am I thinking? It's Twitter.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, therefore I am. I tweet, therefore I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Confucius said that. Yep.
True.
Yep. That's funny.
Anyway, so that's the thing. But the one game that I did play that I cannot wait. I played the demo, and I cannot wait for the full version of the game. It's like QWOP, but if QWOP was good.
QWOP but not AIDS.
QWOP but not AIDS, yeah. And I'm trying to... Oh, my laptop's dead, so I can't show anything.
And it's not Baby Steps?
No. It's called Cairn. Cairn. Cairn.
Cairn?
Cairn. It's like one of those words that I've only ever seen, and I've never heard anybody. I've never heard anybody pronounce. Yeah, it's the word for, like, when you see those little stones that are stacked up, like people put the stones.
Yeah.
The little aesthetic thing.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know I didn't know how to name. I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah. So, and what the game is, it's got a really interesting art style. Cairn.
Okay.
The
more you know.
So it's got a really interesting. It almost looks kind of hand drawn, cell
Okay.
shady. But it's a gorgeous game, and it's a rock climbing game.
A rock climbing co-op type of game.
Yeah. And so I actually by default it like auto selects the limbs. But
Okay.
I actually changed it so that
I
I
pulled up
could.
the Steam page. The art
Yeah,
looks crazy cool.
And so you literally press. You like walk up to the wall, and you press space, and it like kind of puts your hands, you know, and you press space again, and it'll like, you know, choose your right hand, or if you have the automatic or the manual version, you hit space and you can hit WAS or D, and like WD is left arm, right arm, A and S is left leg, right leg.
Okay.
And so it's like, okay, you see a hold up, you know, here, you'll press like space and W, and then your arm is free.
Yeah.
And then you press, I don't remember if you move your mouse. I think you move your mouse. It's hard to like not have it here.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you move your mouse, you know, up and to the right, and your arm will like go up, and then you like space, and it'll grip whatever it's near. So if there's like a crack, it'll like grab the crack. If you're like a little off, like you have to be precise. And so you're just like literally bouldering, you know, and you have to like, you can climb up cracks like this, and it feels really, really good. And there's like a stamina system, and there's like, you can, you know, put the pittons or whatever they are, however those are pronounced.
So many new words today.
The fucking piton.
Okay.
Put the piton in the wall, and you know, you can like belay down and stuff. But dude, the demo is fucking fantastic.
That's sick.
So like, it starts off in this like climbing gym, and there's like 8 routes, and they're all numbered, and they get progressively harder and harder and harder until finally the one wall on the far end is like stone, and because you're in this like little building, almost like a barn kind of thing, and you like start climbing. You look up at the top of the building is open, so you climb up the stone. And that's like the tutorial.
Yeah.
So you get out, and then all of a sudden it opens out, and you just see like mountains and whatever. And there's some kind of narrative around like you're going to be the first like woman to climb this epic mountain or whatever. And so you end up kind of going, and there's just walls. It's like every other game. Those are the places the boundaries.
Yeah.
But this is the one where it's like, just go up this one, and you have to find your route. And you know, there's all this different kinds of things. There's cracks and big, you know, boulders sticking out and whatever. And it's really like organic, and you can do what you want. You can go where you want. And then once I climbed up like a bunch of pretty big things that were like 3 or 4 times the like ending climb on the tutorial, it was the end of the demo, and you're at like the base of like fucking what looks like Everest.
Jeez.
And then that's the end of the demo. I'm like, no, I want to play more. Dude. It was such a vibe. It felt really good to play.
What the Steam said November for a release date.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think November 5th.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, dude, the end of this year, I get that and Power Washing Sim 2. I'm gonna be the fucking vibest.
Dang, bro.
Oh my god, but dude, I can't wait. It was just so satisfying because it really does. You know, like I think I talked like last year sometime. There was a period where I really got into watching like bouldering content.
Yeah.
And I watched that guy like Magnus Mippo, and I watched all of his rock climbing stuff. And you know, it's really satisfying understanding the physics of the climbing, and like they call them in bouldering boulder problems. Because, and the way that they get set up, like the route designers, especially inside of like climbing gyms, they build them in a way that's like with a solution in mind that involves like, you know, if you're in a particular orientation, all of your weight is on like, you know, this limb, this limb, but you have to like reach up to this thing. So in order to do that, you need to like put your hand here, take your leg and double it up here. And then like, so it's just all about spidering up in a way where the center of mass is like close to the wall. And it's really, they did a phenomenal job.
That's so
her
sick.
Ankle,
yeah,
you know, her, like when she, if you extend really, really, really far, she'll like, her leg will like do the thing where it like almost turns.
Oh, okay, okay.
If it was just here, it'd be like this. But the further out you go, the
you
more likely
have
she
to
is
shift
to like
your other parts of your body to get your leg to reach that far. Yeah.
And then like if you're climbing and you have put like one knee high and you reach up, she'll go and like push up high. So dude, it's so good. It's so good. I would recommend checking out the demo. It's
sick.
fantastic. It's really fantastic. I'm looking forward to that.
That's dope. Dude, have you checked out Clover Pit? That's the one I was telling you the other day, the demo. It's the
Oh no, I forgot.
Yeah, the it's the same thing. It's a demo. I guess they're Steam Next Fest or whatever. They're doing a bunch of demos. But I've been like addicted.
Yeah, let me add it to my wish list.
I've been addicted to watching Northern Line play Clover Pit, dude. It's like the Balatro days of watching him. It's just so funny building a run. It's a super interesting, funny to watch game for sure.
Oh, there's a demo.
Yeah.
I'll just download it right now.
Yeah. It's a fun game to watch, and it's got the roguelite vibe going pretty solid. It's funny. But that's sick, man. That's dope.
Yeah, so I'll have a few months till anything exciting comes out.
Yeah.
Dude, is fucking Light No Fire?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Is where
Is that a 26 or a 25 release date?
Dude,
or have they not even announced?
I'll cry if it's 25. Wish list now. Yeah, but like release date TBA. Fuck off.
Damn, bro.
Oh my god. I want that game.
Speculate it could be as early as late 2025 or possibly 26. It's probably not 25 if they haven't announced it yet.
I don't think, dude. You think that fucking Hello Games is gonna announce anything ahead of time anymore?
Well, I think they definitely won't unless they're goddamn sure they can hit it. That's for sure.
I feel like, dude, lately when games just kind of come out without like massive hype is when they do like Expedition 33 was a game that maybe it just maybe I wasn't the target audience or whatever, even though like I loved the game.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure a lot of people were like probably been following it for years or whatever, but there's just a bunch of games like what was the other fucking Tarkov, like Arc Raiders was another one that kind of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, just popped up. I definitely agree. I think that the age of the hype machine is coming to an end outside of IPs that are just like gigantic, right? Like freaking GTA 6. There's no way around them like hyping that up. But I definitely agree that I think it's overall done more harm than good. It's been used for evil more than it has been for good. You know what I mean? You've got your Battlefield, 20 whatever 47. I forget what that was called, which apparently ended up being a good game at the end of its run. But like a lot of pre-orders, a lot of like trying to get people to play early, and so I definitely agree. I way prefer when people are like I would way prefer if it was just like I opened up YouTube one day and it was like Light No Fire trailer. There was a new one. I clicked it, and then at the end it was like releases in a week. That's as hype as I could get, as opposed to like them announcing now that it's July 26 and then it gets delayed in May of 26, and it's like, oh man, just drop it. Just drop it.
Yeah.
So Light No Fire 100%, man. Like that seems. The thought of them taking everything they've learned from No Man's Sky over all these years and like applying that to another game sounds I'm so excited about.
The only other thing too is Pony Island 2.
Oh yeah.
It's so great that I forget about these games for months and months, because then I get like excited, and one of these days it's gonna be like, oh, that released last week.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's TBA as well. God damn it.
Oh yeah, when did Elder Scrolls 6? When was that announced?
Oh God.
Because it was so far. It was so, yeah. Elder Scroll during Bethesda's E3 conference. I remember this. It was announced that they were working on it on June 10th, 2018.
That's literally when Rimworld came out.
Yeah.
And that came out forever ago. Announcement teaser? What did the game look like? Oh, they just showed
it was literally just flying over a mountain, and they were like, to Todd Howard's defense, he said we're nowhere near done, but we know that the fans have been asking, so this is us officially announcing we're working on it. So it's not like he said it was coming soon.
And all they have to do is just like put that crater in those like kind of weird plateau mountain things somewhere on the map, and
yeah, exactly.
They weren't lying.
But to be honest with you, I'd be interested. This is complete fabrication on my part, conjecture. But I'm interested to see if any of the response to Starfield has like shifted at all the priorities or the design elements or the engine or whatever.
They're probably like, oh, we got to go back to the drawing
when it comes to Elder Scrolls 6. You know what I mean? Because here's the deal. It's like we've talked about before how like, yeah, the hype machine is almost like its own thing, like the hive mind. Like, I'm not saying Elder Scrolls 6 will be as anticipated as Grand Theft Auto 6, but it's going to be up there in terms of most anticipated games of all time. Because like in the same way that like our generation grew up with Grand Theft Auto 5 was one of the most influential games of its generation, and then the company sunk many years and multiple billions of dollars making the sequel. In the same vein, Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, we grew up with those games. Skyrim was one of the most influential games of all time. They've sunk hundreds of like it's the same type of thing for the fantasy. This is just fantasy GTA. Skyrim was one of the best-selling games of all time. They've re-released it 63 times. So it's like Elder Scrolls 6 is just gonna have so much attention. And so I mean, I hope they freaking nail it, right? Like I'm like a world where like Bethesda hits its redemption arc with like an amazing Elder Scrolls 6 would be so sick. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what Todd Howard says. I think the only other thing worth mentioning is I haven't gotten into the details, but apparently there's just been a bunch of drama around the Cairn Reed stuff, because all of the people that are, you know, or part of the kind of conspiracy, the Alberts and the McCabe's and like, you know, sort of the villains of the whole story.
Yeah.
They and Trooper Proctor basically came out within days of the verdict and all had like interviews on a bunch of different like news channels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's been like obviously roasting them, because they've been doing this like weird kind of like wannabe redemption tour. But what's wild is that a few jurors, one in particular more than most, have done some interviews and given some insights into what they were all thinking, what they were convinced by, the things that they liked, the things that they didn't like. And yeah, it's super fascinating getting a look into like what were they thinking, having such limited information. And for the most part, it was, you know, what you would expect. They just didn't think that the Commonwealth, the prosecution, like really had enough of a case. They felt really bad while also being like relieved that they were able to like give justice to Cairn Reed, but also injustice, you know, to John O'Keefe's family. So they felt like really bad about that. But apparently like even the prosecutor has like made public statements talking shit about the jurors, which is like unbelievably fucked up.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Just let it go, bro.
Yeah, so
I'd want to be moving on from that case as soon as possible. Damn.
Yeah. So, and I guess that there's been some back and forth between some of the lawyers and the prosecution making public kind of statements, and yeah. So I have to go and catch up on the back and forth that went on today,
Jeez,
because it was like
bro.
trending on Twitter. But
That's
yeah, it's
so
been kind of wild. And
cringe.
what was actually really crazy too is that, so the juror number 11, the one that had a bunch of interviews, was a lawyer, which is really interesting, because you would think that a lawyer would like instantly,
Yeah.
but even lawyers can be jurors as long as you're like objective. Now, she was a lawyer. She got her like law degree in Brazil.
Okay.
And so like everything that she did related to law and everything,
Yeah.
although she like works in marketing, like legal related marketing now, but was in Brazil. So and they didn't even have to not know about Karen Reed.
Okay.
Like that wasn't
To be selected.
to be selected. It wasn't the criteria. You just had to like not have an opinion, because
Yeah.
the woman was like, I had seen the free Karen Reed
Yeah.
billboards all over Massachusetts.
Yeah.
She's like, but I didn't know what she did or what the deal was, or and didn't know anything about anything. So it's fascinating though. If anybody's interested in that, you can see the mindset of like the jurors, and so
That's crazy. I don't know that I'd want to be doing interviews if I was a juror on a case like that, bro. I just want to remain anonymous.
I think I would. I would, and then I would regret it, but
yeah.
I can't do that. When I have something interesting to say, I can't.
I can't help yourself. Oh man, that's funny. I mean, it's like unsurprising that the people are getting feisty, but it's just like it's unsurprising that people like Trooper Proctor or the cops or any of those people are getting feisty. It's crazy if you're like the prosecutor, because on some level you had to know that, like, even if you thought she did it, if you're like the prosecutor, you have to like go to bed at night and know like this case is thin. Like, you know what I mean? Just based on the way, because you as the prosecutor, you're not, if there was a conspiracy, you're not in the conspiracy. You might know that they, are wrong, but your job is to represent them and make sure that the burden of proof and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, so just to be throwing shade, it's like, you had to kind of know this was all bullshit, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he drank his own.
Yeah,
copium.
dude, maybe. It's weird how people can do that, but maybe. I don't know. Dude, over here in Escape from Tarkov land, we pushed the PP back to today because yesterday we got a pretty decently sized patch in Tarkov, and I was feeling kind of primed for it because I took 3 weeks off Tarkov to play Gray Zone, so I was like kind of excited for a patch. And dude, I've been saying, like, I know I've been on my kind of variety arc a little bit. I've played the least amount of Tarkov in 2025 than I ever have, and that's come with repercussions to my channel and stuff like that, but I'm out here trying to live my best life. But I will say that, like, BSG kind of be out here just hitting nonstop W's in 2025. They've done more patches in this time than ever, and more of the patches have been good and less of the patches have had like extremely negative consequences. Now, they've not all been perfect. There have been times where we've got to, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But overall, I mean, like, I still preach the gospel of the changes they made to the AI, changed the game for the better. The way they react, the way that they kind of like calm before they shoot, the way they like after a certain amount of meters, they'll see you, but they won't shoot at you unless you shoot at them. Like, it's just made. I still die to AI, but it's
like proper gamified in the right way.
Exactly. I still die to AI. AI still puts pressure on me. They still surprise me when I'm fighting other players. They still consume my resources and they shoot me and they black my arms. But the amount of times you just like walk into the freaking dorms and then just fall over dead, has gone down so much. So big changes like that. But this patch, also, this is the first time they're continuing, and continually. If you mix those words together, you get continuing. They're continually actually living up to the roadmap, which is something we've not had before. We got our June patch. It had everything the roadmap said it was going to have, like
Pog.
cinema. So the big changes were audio. As a part of this update, the audio engine systems and its individual subsystems have been significantly expanded to provide a more immersive Escape from Tarkov experience. The current version has gone through several stages of testing, however, is not final, so you may encounter some unexpected behavior. We're already preparing a set of fixes to come in a subsequent patch. They readjusted the sound subsystem that checks for obstructions between the listener and the source. Improved the sound processing between the listener and the source when the source was behind obstacles like uneven terrain, rocks, vehicles, crates, and other environmental elements. Fixed several issues where various sounds were processed and muffled incorrectly, and improved the sound penetration, giggity, process inside and outside interiors of walls of different thicknesses. Improved the sound penetration between floors of buildings and stairways, and improved the occlusion of interactive windows and doors. Okay, so with audio, well, obviously the meme has been like, this is the 87th update to the audio, and they've just progressively gotten worse since Steam Audio. But outside of that, one thing that I've been saying a lot is you don't really, like, as much as audio is a meme in Tarkov, you don't really notice audio unless a bad experience happens, right? So you could play like a 3-hour, like a more casual 2 or 3 hour session of raids. And in 2 of those raids, somebody runs around a corner that makes no sound, and you're like, the audio's bad, and you're justified because in that case, the audio was. But when they make changes to make the audio better, a lot of people are like, how does the audio sound? Is it better? And it's like, well, it's kind of just like the hope is you get those bad situations less. It's not that like they changed the way a gunshot sounds, like an SKS still sounds like an SKS. And most of the time when someone's running, you hear them. So it's like, does it sound better? Well, it's kind of just like, hopefully it will sound bad less frequently. Now, the one exception to this is Papa Jesse's favorite map, which is Shoreline. And you've heard me bitch about this for many years now. The resort has been broken for like 2.5 solid years where there was no occlusion. So if you're on the first floor and someone is on the roof checking a mag, it sounds the same as if they were right behind you checking a mag on the first floor. Like there was just completely no occlusion. So I was like, that's a perfect place to test some of this stuff because it's the only place in Tarkov you can consistently get bad audio every time you want to test audio. Like the resort has just been the place. Whereas if you play Streets a lot, you might not even notice the audio update. Hopefully, there will just be less instances of bad audio, right?
Yep.
But the resort, I was like, take me there. And we did a bunch of testing. I did like an 8-hour stream where I played mostly resort. It's night and day.
Oh?
Night and day. It's awesome. It's not perfect. I still had some instances where I was like hearing like, there were a couple instances where like if there were multiple people, like if a scav was running and a PMC was close and I had a duo where things got a little confusing where I was like, what floor is everyone on? But I went into an offline raid and I had people run around and there is definitely like, first of all, like just it muffles sound when someone's above or below you. So like that alone was a huge step in the right direction because we haven't had that for 2 years. It muffles the audio and it muffles it more when they were on third floor. So when someone was running around on third floor, it was very quiet. When they came down the second floor, it was a little bit louder. Stairwell audio is great in that like when they run into a stairwell, it gets louder generally because the sound can go straight down and towards you.
Yeah.
So it's like he was on third floor and it was quiet, and then he hit the stairwell and it got a little bit louder, and then he went to second floor and it got a little bit quieter, louder than when it was on third floor, but less loud than when he was in the stairwell. And all that makes sense
Mhm.
and he was running around. And then we were on East Wing of the Shoreline Resort. And when I was on first floor, he was on second floor. When, right in the middle of second floor on East Wing, there's just a hole and you can drop down to first floor. When he got close to that hole, it got louder. And then when he ran past the hole, it got quieter again. And I was like, absolute cinema, bro. Like, it's so much better. It's so much better. Now, once again, it's only that noticeably better in the Shoreline Resort and in like dorms, in the places where it was just bad all the time. It's only that noticeably better all the time. And like I said,
so like in reserve, you're not gonna like notice.
Yeah.
That
Or like
kind of
streets
stuff
or
as much.
woods. You know what I mean? You're not gonna like woods is kind of a great map for audio because there's just one floor. It's just distance you really need to be worried about. But it's much better, but definitely not perfect. I had a few times where I was like, I couldn't figure out what was going on, or things almost sounded like they were on the same floor. But I would say, like, once again, I played almost all Shoreline yesterday. I played a bunch of Shoreline today, and the amount of times that like everything is better, even when it like kind of sounds like it's where you can't tell, it's so much easier to tell above or below.
Is that contextual, or is it like HRTF, like proper binaural?
What do you mean? Contextual, do you mean like he hits barbed wire and I know barbed wire's on third, so I know he's on third?
That kind of thing, right? Like if you're on first floor, they're not below you, right?
Yes.
Like, or at least on one half of the...
I feel like the HRTF is much better. Like, I genuinely feel like when someone's running, even if they don't hit another queue, I can determine where they are. Especially, it gets much better when they get closer to you. Like, there have been a few times where I'm on second floor and I hear someone running, and right off the rip, I can't tell if they're above or below me. But then when they get to about where I'm at, I'm like, oh, they're above me 100%. And then I run up and push them. So like when they get farther away, sometimes it is a little bit harder to tell. But I feel like it's much better. But because all of this is working much better, there's more instances for it to fall apart. So like if a bunch of people are running around in the staircases, it gets a little like, where is everybody? Sometimes you get like a scav taunt that sounds like he's in a well because he's on the other side of a brick wall from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost sounds too muffled. Like that's just one wall, you know what I mean? But it sounds like he's like yelling from Rock Passage.
Yeah, they probably have like too much occlusion. I mean, like when I did the Unity demo with Steam Audio back in the day, just like the default settings where you're like, this is concrete.
Yeah.
Set the occlusion, like default values for all the things. It'd be like,
yeah.
And it's like, it's a little too much when there's like a 30-foot hole in the wall to the right.
Yeah.
Like realistically speaking, I don't have direct line of sight, but like it's not going to get twice as loud when
exactly. And like someone in the chat said, stairwells can get weird because what they're trying to replicate, like I said, is the sound when you're in a stairwell has a more direct access to go like up and down. So like if you were in a hotel or whatever, it might be hard to hear someone on the floor above you. But if you were in the stairwell and they were in the stairwell, even though they're technically the floor above you, because of how open it's going to be louder, you're going to hear them. And it feels like sometimes those calculations get a bit wonky where like if someone's in the stairwell, it actually sounds louder than if they were on the same floor. Like it almost boosts the sound too much when they're in a stairwell, like depending on how close you are to the stairwell. So there's some weirdness, but
yeah, I wonder if, I mean, like part of that could be realistic. I'm not sure, right? Like if you stand in a stairwell and you clap and that reverb, it's like loud rather than being in a hallway.
True.
So
True. Who knows? It's just the other thing you have to unpack is just like what players are used to. And so sometimes it's like disorienting, but maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, maybe it's neutral, but it's different and different sounds weird. But so far, I haven't really seen, I had a few people say that interchange was worse. They didn't like elaborate on what that meant, and I haven't played any interchange, so I can't really speak to that. But I haven't seen any place where it's like really, really worse. Like there might be places like stairwells where it sounds weird, but if anything, like the old Steam Audio days, that is just more of a sign, like an audio cue that they're on the stairwell. Whereas the problems with the sound over the past few years have just been, I hear something and I genuinely don't know where it's from, or I don't hear anything at all. So
Yeah.
I've been saying over and over again, like I've been really excited about this audio patch, but like it's not perfect. There's still issues. There's still bugs. There's still things that need to be addressed. But it seems like we're trending back towards the Steam Audio days where even though there are audio bugs, they are bugs where you can like learn from and like still predict where a guy's going to be, as opposed to bugs where you really don't know where what you're hearing is coming from, or bugs where you don't hear anything at all.
Yeah.
And like I said, largely it's not that impactful of a change. If you're a Shoreline main, welcome to the future. This is your heyday. And I've been a Shoreline main for like most of this wipe.
You mean by future, you mean 2019?
Yeah, welcome to 2019. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm only half kidding.
And then it also definitely feels like they adjusted basically what you were talking about, which is like we were doing some testing where somebody was running around outside. I'm inside, they're outside. And then I break a window. And then them running around outside is like much louder than it was than when the window wasn't broken. That's created some like weird bugs, but also some moments where it actually feels really good. So yeah, not the final audio patch by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm hard pressed to find something that's like objectively worse, or not worth the update. So W there. They reduced the loudness of bushes in first and third person. Thank Christ. For like a year now on labs, you know how like a big part of labs is when you press a button, the Russian announcer, and then if you're a labs player, that's context for you to be like, oh, they're rushing G.
Yeah.
The announcer just hasn't been playing for like a year. They fixed that. Improve the sound occlusion on various locations to enhance detail. Cool. They made some changes to the AI. Nothing too crazy. They, fixed them like walking through doors and stuff like that, which I don't even know if that's real. Have you seen any clips? They added a search feature in your stash. Have you seen any of this at all?
No, I've seen a few other stash related things, but not.
Whoever made this search feature, you're not watching this podcast, but I want you to know that I love you and you deserve a raise. And I wish you should be in charge of all things moving forward. It's so good, bro. It's so good. There's a little search bar up at the top. You click search. Pops up another window, kind of like the sorting table does. Type in the search bar. Crazy responsive. My stash is filled with bullshit, dude. Crazy responsive. SJ6, it literally like filters as you type. So if I do S, everything that starts with the S is there immediately. J, it just filters. It's so fast and so responsive. And
there literally is zero reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of games recently where the inventory is ass and very slow, and I've never understood. Like, it's been funny. My variety arc has come with a whole new appreciation for a couple of things Tarkov does well. The audio, like the two things that I always come up with are the audio in Tarkov has always been notoriously bad, but how they mix footsteps is my favorite in any game. The finals, Delta Force, SCUM, Gray Zone Warfare, I always feel like the footsteps just take up
our step
exactly where like the wind, and it's impossible to distinguish between them. They're so, and so it's like when Tarkov has footsteps, they're the best mixed footsteps ever. They stand out, they separate themselves from the mix really well. It's just that 60% of the time you don't get them, right? And then the other thing is every game with an inventory has a mad, slow, clunky ass inventory system. And it like,
I mean, any game that's like similar to Tarkov, like Gray Zone and those games.
Gray Zone, Delta Force, SCUM, DayZ. It's so, you always move something and it rubber bands back and then it moves where you want it. Rotating is hard. It's like, so So I've been more like appreciative of how just snappy, like control clicking shit in Tarkov is so fast. It works. I mean, you get the back end errors every once in a while, but it just works really well.
Yeah, so like the filtering is something that like like theoretically there's no reason why it wouldn't be instantaneous, because like when your profile loads,
Yeah.
you get all the data. You have all the data.
Yeah.
It's just strings. They're just it's
Gotcha.
letters.
Yeah.
So when you're filtering, there's no reason why. Imagine if, like on an iPhone, you had your contacts list, and you go type in.
Basically
identical.
it's just a bigger pool.
It's identical. It's the same exact thing. That's just doing a substring match on text. It just so happens that each one has an image URL, which is just more text attached to it.
Yeah.
But that image is already downloaded, already cached.
Yeah.
Or well, actually, no, they still do download all of those from the server a lot. You'll see like sometimes the IFAC icon,
spinning,
like back in the day would. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why like it wouldn't be instantaneous.
So it's a box you can move around. So you can like put it off to the side if you want to quick equip things from it. You can choose to, when you're searching, search what's on your character or search your stash. So if you come out of like a labs raid with like rigs and bags, you can put that, and then you can like open up your med case and like search for things and then put them. So if you wanted to do that, but most of the time you're going to be searching your stash. You can, so search in the stash. You can have it so that it searches inside containers or excludes them. So if you're just looking for loose things, you can have it where it will, separately from that, you can have it exclude locked containers. There's that lock thing now where like if you're putting a bunch of found in raid things in there that you want to use, you can lock that container. So you can have it exclude that. You can search, you can have it filter so it's only showing items that are found in raid. And you can have it search in item components, which is like that's defaulted off. But like if I searched voodoo, it's only pulling up loose voodoos in my stash. But if I click search item components, it's now also pulling up all the guns that have a voodoo attached.
Gotcha. Okay.
Phenomenal, bro. It's so nice. And you know how on the side of the stash, there were those tabs. So like guns only or ammo, you know what I mean? Like you could click those things and it would highlight, it would gray out everything else. And then it would highlight whatever tab you have. Nobody ever used those. But those tabs are useless because those tabs on your actual stash only show loose things. So like in my stash, I can't click the medical tab because all of my medical items are inside med boxes. So that tab is grayed out. This search box has actually made kitting up incredibly easy because at this point in the wipe, I've got 4 med boxes and they're all full. So instead of me clicking on all 4 of them, finding which ones have my propofol, because I died a lot today and I don't even know if I have any. I've got some med cases in containers. I just open the search bar, click the medicine thing, and every one of my medical items is in that box, even though they're all in containers. I don't have to pull them out of the container. I don't have to click on all the containers. I just click the search bar, click the medical tab, and then from there, I can equip Solua, propofol, hemostat. Boom. So
nice.
You can have, it's like the perfect solution to address the creep that's happened with all the different cases. There's ammo cases and grenade cases and all these cases, and those cases are great for organizing, but it's dramatically increased the amount of clicks to kit up because everything's in a case now.
Yeah.
So just being able to click meds and then just take those meds really quick or search my stash. I did a bunch of labs raids the other day. Do I have any trimidols? I don't. Okay, let me buy some from the fleet. You know how many times I've bought trimidols all day and then I open up one of my containers, I go, oh, I had 10? It's crazy good, bro. The search feature, like, is probably my favorite feature of this patch, and I really didn't expect it to be. I thought it was going to be like the kit up, where it was like cool for people that want to use it, or the magazine presets. It's like people that learned Tarkov with it probably use it, but I'm just too set in my ways. I'm never going to use that. So The search feature is very, very good, very well implemented. They actually thought of like every use case I would want to search my stash for. It's clean. It's very clean. Very nice. Okay, another thing. Eyewear and masks with flash protection now reduce the glare effect from light sources. Items with this stat have been rebalanced. Yes. Okay.
Is it like lens flares or like?
I was hoping I still had this clip up. Watch this clip to show what it is.
See, unfortunately, I can't show it. But
That's
I'll
fine.
watch it.
That's fine. Maybe I'll link it. Basically, yes, it actually reduces the brightness of flashlights.
Whoa.
Yes.
But they take ergo hits too,
yes.
now, don't they?
Yes. And every sunglass in the game basically has this on it now. The one with the most, oh yeah, let me put it in chat actually. The one with the most reduction is the Tagilla helmet because it's a welder's mask, which makes sense. And then the one with the most without it is the gas welder goggles at 35% flashlight reduction. And then
can you wear headphones with Tagilla's mask?
Headphones, yes. Helmet, no. Wait.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that.
Hold on, I have Tarkov up. Can you?
I mean, because if that's the case, oh, devastating.
No headphones.
I was gonna say if you could, then that's all. I would never.
Yeah.
Play the game again.
But that's the thing, bro. The 35%, the gas welders is still really good. I've been rocking gas welders a ton. The gas welders went up to like 400K for like 5 minutes because people were just like losing their minds. But it's so, dude, the flashlights, like, I don't even want to get, like, honestly, whatever. If you were a big flashlight realism guy, I don't know what to tell you. It's been the bane of a lot of people that enjoy fun and playing video games that are video games for a really long time. The flashlight meta, the like broad daylight, 200 meters away, I still can't see anything because you're shining a flashlight at me. So it's funny because this basically turns into like a permanent nerf of flashlights. Or they could have just kind of nerfed flashlights. Like, this is a weird way to do it, but I'm not going to complain because, but like, for example, so the second best thing to use is the gas welders at 35%, but you have to buy those on the flea. At Ragman level 2, there's a pair of sunglasses called Crossbows. They have a 30% flashlight reduction and they cost 3,000 rubles and it's Ragman level 2. So really decent.
Those will be sold out instantly.
Yeah, so really decent flashlight protection is available early on, and it's awesome. And it's nice because for the past couple of patches now, there's been no reason to pretty much not wear the Death Shadow mask, which is like the black, almost bug-looking mask. That does have a flashlight reduction on it, but it's less than a lot of these other.
That's like level 2, right?
Yeah, it's level 2. It's really just there for the ricochet chance because anything can be ricocheted. Now, what I haven't tested...
Is that the one that's like penis flesh colored?
No. There is one that's penis flesh colored. This one's just black. The question I have not yet figured out is, you know how like there was the rendering issue where all the old sunglasses don't render like fog in front of them?
Sacriel talked a bunch about like 800 years ago.
Oh, I don't know, maybe. But like they basically glow through fog at really far distances. Now, there was a point in time that they figured out what that was, and all eyewear added to the game after that point in time, they do not glow, and we've known that for a long time. So like the gas welders don't glow, big pipe sunglasses don't glow. But I don't know if they went back and fixed the old sunglasses or if it's still only the newer ones that don't glow. I genuinely don't know. I haven't done testing. I should. Yeah, the condors don't glow. I should do that testing, but I'm not sure. But yeah, flashlight change W in my opinion as well, because it's still distracting. And if you're the flashlight user, you are still illuminating. It's not changing how well you can see now, right? Like if you're in the first floor Shoreline Resort and it's dark, you turning on the flashlight, it's still allowing you to see. It's just less giga blinding to the other end. So W.
I mean, honestly, that is an elegant way to solve the problem of, because unless you're faking the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, which you would want. There's a way you could do it where other people's flashlights were just 20% as bright as they actually are.
Yeah.
But that would mean that you are both looking at two different worlds.
Yes.
Which you don't want,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So having a physical thing that basically makes it so that you're only changing the brightness for the person who doesn't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems obvious, but it's kind of a little bit of an elegant solution.
W. They added the ability to check what time it is in Raid. Now when you press O, it shows the time of day in the bottom right. This is very helpful for quests that are like between 22 and 7, get kills on interchange. And you queue in at 6:30 and you're pushing a guy and you're like, do I have time? You can just hit O and you'll see the time now. That's nice. The ability to automatically convert currency if you do not have enough when purchasing an item. 2025.
This might be a dumb question, but I feel like I was the only one who ever asked for that.
No.
I probably wasn't, but
many people
I remember
did.
that being a thing that I made a short on 800 years ago. It was just like, why can't this happen?
My IRL buddy texted me a screenshot of that line and said, Veritas finally vindicated.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. But that was one of those things where I'd be on a podcast or whatever, and I'd be like asking Nikita, like, "Hey, what about?" And everyone's like, "Oh, come on, man, that's what you're asking."
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Like,
there's so much more important things.
Yeah, when it fucking happens, you guys will thank me.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. So that's huge. Added the highlighting of attachments that are available for purchase from traders in the weapon build screen. This is going to go so hard early wipe. Nobody mods guns at level 2 or 3 traders because who knows what suppressors? Like, all of us only know what suppressors we find if they work or the meta ones because there's so many suppressors.
Link search on every single component. Item. It just takes forever.
Now when you're on the gunsmithing screen, like the gun building, when you click suppressor, it shows all the suppressors in the game. A green shopping cart in the bottom right-hand corner means you can purchase it from the trader. A red shopping cart means you can't purchase it from the trader. You're going to have to buy it off the flea. And no shopping cart, nothing, means you have it in your inventory. Cinema. It's beautiful. Like this next wipe, the level 2 and 3 trader gun builds are going to go so hard because it's literally not worth your time right now to link search every attachment and figure out what's available. But it's going to be so much easier to build guns next wipe. Sick. The ability to pin tasks at the top, huge, bro. Huge. So when you have
in them, what, like the order?
Yeah. So when you're if you're in a raid and you're checking, you threw a nade at a guy and you're like, oh, did I kill him or whatever? Or how many more scavs do I need? Instead of having to scroll through all your tasks, especially mid wipe when you have 73.
I guess there's a lot more tasks now,
so
especially
many
with
more
dailies than there was 2 years ago when I was playing.
You can genuinely have 50 open tasks. So just I'm doing Lighthouse today. I just pin these the two annoying ones that I know I have to kill a bunch of a certain thing, and you can check them. That's nice. Adding a warning when attempting to start a raid with a task item in your inventory. So if you have the delivery from the past thing, you got it from customs and you're going freaking interchange. It's like, hey, do you want to go interchange? They rebalance the sensitivity and zooming ability of optical sights. There's been a little bit of confusion. I'm not 100% sure what this means. What I think is for like about a year now, like about a year ago, the sensitivity of your mouse when you were on like a red dot, like an Elcan, or sorry, not Elcan, a EOTech red dot, and the sensitivity on the 1x setting of a Voodoo, they were the same from 2017 to 2024. And then there was a patch where it was different, and the sensitivity on the 1x of a Voodoo was much slower. So if you were like, you really used to that sensitivity, you were missing shots a lot on the 1x of a Voodoo. They feel much more in line now. The Voodoo feels like 5% slower as opposed to like 20% slower. Now, I've heard that they also did other things where like they pulled some of the zooms back or whatever. Everything else people have said that meant, I haven't noticed. That doesn't mean those people are wrong. Sometimes I'm just too dumb to notice when a thing changes. But it does feel like the sensitivity is better. Transitioning from one map to another will count as a survive on that original map for any quests that require survives.
Okay.
So like you could do the guide in one raid now, technically, if you just transition through all the maps. That's it. A bunch of fixes. None of them are really worth reading out. That was the major thing in the patch. The only other thing that popped up that people were like, oh my God, was right now there's what they've been doing for the past couple weeks. I think we talked about this, is like every week there's a different boss that's 100% spawn. They did like, they've done like Gluhar, they did Kaban, they did that. Yeah. And they didn't list this in the patch notes, but now on the maps, there's a little red skull next to the map that has the thing.
Yeah, that's neat.
Dude, it's crazy how simple some of this shit is and how long we've been saying stuff like this would go hard, and then they do it and we're like, this goes hard. Now people are like, give us a goon tracker, which I fully agree with, by the way. Like I think in the Intel Center or somewhere on the map, it should tell you where the goons are, because it's not a guarantee. Once you find out that they're on Shoreline, it's not a guarantee that they're going to be there. You know what I mean? There's still only 30% chance or whatever. So yeah, I think that would be amazing.
All right. So let me ask you a question, because it goes back to the thing about like, you know, talking about quality of life stuff in like 2019 and people being like, is that really what you want, when they should fix the netcode and they should fix the audio and blah, blah, blah. This is the choice that a lot of us knew we were actually making, but wasn't obvious to most people, which is there's two worlds. There's a world where all of this quality of life stuff was added 6 years ago, and the audio didn't get fixed yesterday. It got fixed a month from now.
Oh.
Or what we have today.
Yeah.
The audio's fixed now, and we just got a bunch of quality of life stuff. Think about the hours of the amount of time allocated to like clicking through menus and dealing with bullshit in Tarkov. Someone would have cured cancer by now.
Dude, think in aggregate how many more raids I would have been allowed to do if this scav change had been done in 2020 or 2019 as opposed to 2025. Yeah. Oh yeah, bro. But what I'm trying to do is remain as positive as possible. Genuinely, I'm trying to give BSG all the ups they deserve this year. There have been some patches that have broken some things. Oh, one of the bugs that came as a result of this patch, this is an oldie but a goodie bug. This has happened like 3 or 4 times since I've been playing Tarkov. But there's like 6 different guns that the game is currently allowing you to put 2 buttstocks on at the same time. And since buttstocks remove like 43% recoil, you can get a couple guns down to like 1 recoil. That's happened before. They fixed it. It happened before they fixed it. It's a bug again. I'm sure they're going to fix it, right? So it's like, I'm not trying to like full flip and be like, BSG doesn't do anything wrong. But at the same time, I'm trying to be like honest about the fact that all the criticisms I had of them over these years, they're doing the things I wish they were doing. Yeah. Is there a part of me that's frustrated that, you know, we've talked about this before. Is there a part of me that's frustrated that in 2025, they launched this Tarkov community thing? The top 10 posts are the top 10 things players have been complaining about since 2018. Suddenly, they're all getting fixed, and people are like, oh, I'm so glad we have this Tarkov community thing. And I'm like, we've been saying this shit for forever. Yes. Is there a little bit of part of me that's bitter and immature? 100%. But overall, better late than never. And I'm glad. They've literally done more patches this year than any other first half of a year. More of them have been W's. We've gotten a crazy mix of actual quality of life features to the game and W changes to systems like the AI and the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. Somebody mentioned there was like a chat message that was like, and now if we could just get queue times to be less than 10 minutes, this would be a game of the year contender. And it was like literally while I was queuing into Streets and I was matching at the like 9-minute mark. And I was like, damn, so real. You're so real for that. It's one of those things where you don't want to like reward a good deed with complaining. But what happens is as they make parts of the game better, it just makes the parts of the game that are frustrating like more apparent. And that's definitely one of them, especially coming from, like I said, I've been playing. It's so funny because I never really complained about the matching times outside of like early wipe when matching can literally be like 20 minutes. Until this year when I started playing other games a lot more, do you realize how much time? Like playing the finals, bro, I've never queuing for more than like 18 seconds. And then it's like, I want to play Streets. And it's 8-minute queues every raid. And you're like, dude, this is crazy. So yeah, but once again, they're kind of crushing it. I hope they continue to crush it. On the roadmap, there's still 2 more patches listed that are both filled with quality of life updates. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'm down with it. So
1.0 on its way.
1.0 on its way, bro. 1.0
on the way, dude.
1.0 on its way. What's the real quick TLDR of the next patch we're supposed to get in July? Shoreline optimization, ground zero optimization, third-person gunshot sound rework. That's actually crazy because remember I was telling you like a couple months ago about how all guns in the entire video game stop rendering audio past 100 meters.
Yeah.
So that's nice. The August patch is interchange, optimization, and expansion. Very excited about that. Interchange has needed some love for a long ass time. Large scale in-game event, and then a list of quality of life changes to be completed based on Tarkov community feedback. And then version 1.0 just says after August. I'm assuming that we're going to get like an August-September wipe. We talked about this last week. That would make the most sense. I don't have anything to back that up. That would just make the most sense for then like a maybe December 1.0 release or whatever. And then, yeah, you said you were making your big return to Tarkov with 1.0, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm stoked. You heard it here first.
There's not enough fucking rubles on this side of the
Mississippi.
Chechenian River. I don't know any of the rivers.
Yeah.
In Russia.
Dude, the very wide emote is great.
No, honestly, the funny thing is that like I do what I fucking want. Like whatever I feel like doing, I just do.
Yeah.
There's a world where like sometime I feel like playing.
For sure.
I heavily doubt it, and I might want to convince myself out of it, but I very well could convince myself.
Yeah, but you don't want to like stand here and say you're never going to play again. You might wake up one day and just be like, bro, I heard 1.0's lit. You play for 2 hours and you go, oh man, I'm glad they made the game better. You close it and you never open it again. It's like, who knows, man? I
would be more likely to play it off stream. Even though I could get 10x the viewers if I just streamed and like, dude, when I was playing, I was
stream
literally
title,
playing
The Return.
Bro, I was playing Escape from Mistwood Mansion and people were coming in like crazy. I got like 20 viewers just from people being like, yo, I just got baited by the category. Escape from ...
Oh my God.
You know, so it's like
you should do it one day after 1.0 just for the content. just like like one day, and it's like the return, and you just.
No, what I'll do, I mean, if I do it, I'd have to just milk the fuck out of it. It would have to be,
Yeah.
It would have to be, okay, I'll do a subathon.
Yes, dude.
And you get me to fucking 30,000 subs like Kai Cenat
Yes,
or whatever,
bro.
and I'll play it for a year straight,
Dude, yes. Oh my god, that would go so hard. That would go so hard, bro. Oh man.
Every 10 subs, I'll do one raid. Yeah.
Yo, that would actually be a subathon. Yeah, where like a 10 gifted is one Tarkov raid. Holy shit. Because you either the subathon fizzles out and you don't have to play a lot of Tarkov, which is a win, or you have to play a shit ton of Tarkov and you got like hella subs, which is also a win.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be a nice redemption for I was on the phone all day with my builder, and it's sick paying like a 6-figure salary basically. Someone who runs your job site. Oh my god, bro! Like,
bro,
a couple $1,000 a week. It's like, oh, what?
Yikes, dude. Hell yeah, I love that. I mean, that's pretty much it. The only other gaming thing is I hopped back into, I did a sponsor stream for SCUM last week. Honestly, didn't have that great of a time, but I saw that it had potential, and I've been watching Deadly play a lot, and I was like, man, when he plays, it looks so fun. So I played it again today. But the thing is it's like DayZ, where it's like servers. It's all about what server you're playing, because the vanilla servers are like ass. And so I hopped back into SCUM today, and low key had a blast, and I like want to play more. And chat seemed to be vibing with it too. Yeah, that is true. Deadly makes just about anything look fun. That's the truest statement ever. But I had a blast, and so it's like DayZ, like it's a survival game, like right in the realm of DayZ, but kind of with like a much steeper learning curve, which means it has the Tarkov effect where like it's kind of asked to play at first, and then you get over the hump and you're like, oh, the whole world opens up. Like it's a lot of menus and a lot of information shown at you. Like at any given time, you can see how much of every vitamin you have. Like there's a full metabolism system where you have to like, you can see how much like protein, fat, carbs, everything you've consumed. There's all your vitamins, how full your bladder or your colon is. You actually have to pee and poop in this game when you're too full. There's a crazy like soft skill system that's tied to like intellect, strength, and which allows you to do like all sorts of things like that makes, so like the better you are, I forget where cooking is, but like cooking is a sub skill of like intellect. So the higher intellect you are, the better cooking you can be, which means the less requirements things take to cook. So it's like being better at cooking genuinely means you need less ingredients to cook them, that type of thing. So, and I think that those soft skills carry between deaths, like as long as your character is on this server. Gotcha. So there's some kind of like, it's like DayZ, but some sense of meta progression in addition to just the one life.
Yeah.
The server I was playing on is almost like Division Dark Zone, where one half of the map is PvP. The other half of the map is PvP turned off. So it's like still 128 players or however many in the server, but you can't harm each other outside of that. Now, in the PvE side, there's still zombies and AI humans that you will fight. And then there's like a big base building element similar to Rust, but more like DayZ's kind of clunky base building. And you can build in the PvE zone, which means your base can't be raided. But you can build in the PvP zone. And in the PvP zone, there's better loot. But your base can be raided. And then within the PvP zone, there's like...
Is it a military base like every fucking game is?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a couple military bases, yeah. And then there are certain POIs that have no build zones around them. So you can't just like build a mega base at the best POI and then own it. there's like you can't build within these like little zones. So the community tools for creating servers seem really extensive, and people have done some really cool stuff with it. And yeah. Oh yeah, you can change your penis size.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
You can.
I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember watching Oddboss, and all Oddboss did was kill people and then like cut up their bodies, and like you can like, can you like harvest their organs, or is it just like skin?
No.
And he would just basically like make fleshy like avatar stick figures on the ground with their pieces, basically. It was I could watch that for hours.
Yep, it's great. There's a lot of RP potential because of how complex the system is, where you can like poison food and give it to them, or like starve somebody of like one particular like vitamin they need or whatever. Like there's VoIP, the crafting system is really intricate. There's all sorts of like lock picking things. There's events that happen on the map. There's like stuff will happen. There's traders, and there's safe zones with traders and like quests you can do. So it's like, it's got a lot of elements mashed together in a way that would make you think it's trying to do too many things, but it kind of pulls it off. It's kind of almost what I wanted out of like a open world Tarkov, where like I can have a stash and I can build a base in a PvE zone that's not going to get raided, a la my hideout. And then I can go and PvP all day if I want, or I can do farm runs for resources, or I can go do missions for the traders, or I can expand my base, but I'm playing the game the whole time.
And it's like DayZ, where there's no, it's a sandbox, right? There's no quests or anything.
Well, correct. No the traders do have quests, but they're all just basically like fetch quests. If it's just like a way to make money if you need it, if you're new. But yes, it is full sandbox. And then there's this interesting element where like the thing about DayZ, right, is like you die and you're dead and you spawn on the beach. And that's how DayZ always is, where it's like you spawn at the beach, and then the farther inland you go is like the higher tier loot, which means when you die out there, there's very little incentive to run for like 72 minutes across the map and hope nobody looted your body. In DayZ, when you die, you are pretty much, you're starting a new life. In this game, because I think the lore of it is it's kind of like a game show where they send prisoners in, they smash you in the back of the head with a little AI that talks to you, and people like watch the prisoners fight. I think that's the lore. So
wait, wasn't that other game?
The finals is also a game show, but it's all like in VR. It's not.
No, there was another game that you like. It was like a BR where you came up in like a capsule from the ground.
I feel like you're right.
It's in my library that has 8 billion games.
Yeah. No, not Exoborn. Exoborn was kind of fun. Anyways, because of that, the more things you kill and the more things you do, you gain fame.
The culling.
You gain fame, and then you can use your fame to like, when you die, you can like pick a region of the map to spawn in. So you can't like spawn in your base, but you can spend your fame like spawning closer to it than you would if you, spawned literally on the other side of the map. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. It like, I always felt like I missed the DayZ like pinnacle
wave.
Yeah, like the pinnacle of DayZ. And I've always said that the like player controller and the graphics, like it's just a Nintendo 64 game now that people have been playing their whole lives, and so they can't let it go, which I totally get. Like if you've been playing DayZ since 2012, like you have so many memories in that, like I get it. You can master it. The new player experience to DayZ is just horrendous, bro. Like the player controller is so bad. The graphics are so weird. Like it's just, I can't get over it. So I've always wanted a survival game to like get into that's kind of relatively new. You want to know what's funny though? The reason I tried out SCUM and got a sponsor stream for it is because it's launching in 1.0. Do you know when SCUM came out? 2018.
Yeah.
It's been in beta almost as long as Tarkov's been in beta. I played it. I bought it right when it came out, because that was like right when I built my PC, and I played it for like 2 hours with my friends, and then literally hadn't played it again since 2018 until like 3 days ago. So
Damn.
but I mean, it's been kind of fun. It's like something to do. Anything else that I can play that chat's kind of vibing with, that's mildly fun to kind of help me get to the next Tarkov wipe and the subsequent Arc Raiders release, I'm into. So it's been pretty fun.
Dude, that's a W.
Scumming. And you get to pee and poop. I get to live out my irritable bowel syndrome
You're trying to
in game, just like in real
reverse
life.
immersion. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I feel seen.
Real life simulator.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's
Oh my god, bro! When I was finishing that's the last thing. When I was finishing my second playthrough of Firewatch,
okay.
the like final countdown, the final fucking like sort of climax of the game where you are. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the game's a walking simulator anyway, right? It's a gorgeous, beautiful game, but there's a lot of walking you do. Something happened, and my player kept getting like stuck. Like I would get like stuck in like a rock or like a bush, and I couldn't like move my character. I finally figured out a way. If I pulled out my map and compass, I could walk. And then if I hit like the run button from there, I could run. But if I just stopped and then I hit W, nothing happened. ASD, nothing happened. Map and compass, I could walk, and then I could run. But when I was running, hitting A or D didn't do anything. It didn't strafe.
Interesting.
So I could only just hold W and jog. I couldn't like walk forward unless I had my map and compass out. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, and the last, which should have been like 3 minutes, was like 30 minutes of me, like the sunk cost fallacy of like, I've already hiked halfway. I don't want to restart because the only thing you can do is restart the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to do it all, and I'm like too stubborn. I'm like, I'm not gonna. So I struggle bust through all the way to the end, and it's like there's like a little one of those like cart, almost like a ski lift. The thing that like goes across a canyon, you know, like a cable car, and you interact with that, and that takes you to like the final thing. And because my character was glitched, I couldn't interact. I'm just like all of that, and I don't get to see like the ending. I'm like Alt F4, pull up YouTube. I'm like fucking ending for the Firewatch. I'm like I can't.
I'm just gonna watch
it. I spent like 40 minutes, and I, you know, anticlimactic where it's like go to hit the button and nothing happens, and it's like no.
That's horrendous. I've never played Firewatch, but I've heard that game is amazing.
Dude, I mean, literally the beginning of the game is just text. You know, it's like you're just this, you know, 30-something-year-old guy. And it's like, you know, you've been drinking, you're at a bar, you see a girl, she's cute, and it's like, bloop, bloop, and it's like, you go and walk up to her and tell her you think she's pretty. You go and walk up to her and, you know, ask her something about like what's on the TV or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, she says that, you know, she also thinks you're cute and blah, blah, blah. She buys you a cheeseburger, and it's like, you guys are on your 5th date. And like the beginning is just a bunch of like storytelling, and it starts off, and the choices that you make are like a part of the kind of story. Yeah. And it's all just like, how are you flirting with your wife and joking with your wife? And what are some of the, oh, you want to get a dog? Your wife felt, you know, wants to get this beagle, and she wants to name it Bucket. And it's like, or there's a German Shepherd that's really badass that would like, you know, nobody would fuck with her. She'd be safe. And so you get to choose like, you know, and then, but the whole thing starts off where it's basically like the premise, and I'm not like, I'll spoil the intro.
Yeah.
Is your wife gets early onset dementia. So at age 40, you like put her in a home because you can't take care of her. And you're like, you're just sad and depressed that like you fail as a husband, and like you feel guilty about all these things, and your friends all judge you. So you stop hanging out with your friends, and it's like, it all just crumbles down, and it all starts like, that's why you are working the summer sitting in a tower alone.
Oh my
with the only thing you can do is do your job, and you have a radio that you can talk to, and all you see is just like the bare like outline of another tower across the forest, and you just talk to that person. It's a woman, and you talk to her, and then like the story unfolds. But it's so good. It's so good.
Dang.
It's phenomenal. It's a tearjerker of a game. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's short. I mean, I beat it in like 3 hours. Bro, if you ever get some time, you should just fucking play it.
Oh, I didn't realize. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So
that's sick.
It's like 10 out of 10 video game. Yeah, I've beat it twice, and I have 6.2 hours of playtime.
Oh, really? That is wild. Okay. That's cool though. I like that it's like almost like a movie, like an interactive movie. Like it's not like 30 hours of play. It's just like you can kind of just sit down and get it done and experience the story.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's totally chill. It's a vibe for sure. I would highly, highly recommend it. So
that's dope. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, there's a community guide, how to cure depression after completing the game. And it just says you can't. That's just a Steam community guide. Holy shit.
How to cure depression, you can't.
No, you actually can't. I'm serious. You can't. That's the whole thing.
Dang.
Based.
Dang. Well, that's sick. I mean, I think that's kind of the stuff. That's what's going on this week. I'm very interested to see your thoughts on Rimworld next week. Cause yeah, I can totally see it's like, yeah, I just kind of stopped having fun, or like Factorio levels of like,
you're gonna see bags under my eyes. Yeah. And I'm like, we'll start the podcast in 5 more minutes, man.
Exactly. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, cool stuff going on in Tarkov. So it's good week. So thank you guys so much for hanging. Obviously, we're recording this a little bit early. But if you want more podcast content like this, you can go to patreon.com/thepogcastpod. You get early ad-free access to these episodes and additional episodes every single week that we record for our patrons over there. Thank you for the continued support, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
My wife.